Sorry, it's Shanna. I was just
Hey,
going
Shanna.
live on YouTube, so we should be there now, which is great. Pam, I see you're here. That's fabulous. And of course, as always, Evelyn is here as well. So that's great. Excited to have everyone tonight. I know everyone is super excited to hear all the tips and tricks and good stuff that Pam has been killing it out there with. So we're excited. Dive deep into that. But before we do, and before we welcome her and hear from Pam, Evelyn, in your world of all things support, is there anything that you've been running into over the weekend that you wanted to share?
Yeah, so we actually just had some questions about, referral links and their actual referral code not showing up. And, just some tips and tricks of the trade, I guess, if you want to call it that. So what we would recommend is before, sending your link out to the people that you want to send it out to, ask them to download the Trip Delivers app first and then have them click on the link once they have the app installed on their phone. Because what we see happening is we're getting a lot of emails saying, hey, this person, my link's not showing up because they downloaded the app after they click on the link. So that's the tip of the trade. Tip for the day is have them download the app first and then click on the link. Or if they do it the other way, they just have to type your referral code in. So
if I download the consumer app and then you send, and then I click on your link, how did the two know to marry me together if the app was already downloaded on my phone?
It was that so it automatically will know. It will the system's actually quite smart that once you click on that link, the referral code is actually embedded on that referee code.
Okay, and so even though it comes after the fact that it's already on my phone, it's fine.
Yep. If you have it on your phone already, if you click on someone's link, it'll automatically say, okay, you were referred by, if your code's Sheena.
So when you mean download the app, you mean just put the app on your phone, but don't sign up until you click on the link.
Exactly.
Okay, so download from the App Store, stop, go to the link, click on it, let it open with the app you've already downloaded, and sign up.
Correct.
Perfect.
So, and that's that because I just said that we got a couple of questions from Jay Major. I have not been able to get re-registered. So Jay, if you can just contact us at support@tripdelivers.com, we can help you out. If you're trying to re-register, we just need to make sure that your phone number doesn't already exist in the system or your email doesn't exist. And we have one from Joy Olcott. Still cannot get the white app to open up on my phone. So Joy, just some tips. Just make sure that you always have your app to be able to detect where you are, your location services. Just make sure that that's turned on. And if that still doesn't work, please contact us at support@tripdelivers.com.
Perfect. I love the early questions.
I know.
Like we have quite a few people with us today. So, Evelyn, if you're good with it, we'll go ahead and introduce Pam and get started.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So, what we'll do today is obviously we are going to hear from our special guest. We are going to show the restaurant and driver flyers that have been created for you guys. We're going to talk about some upcoming trainings we have, including a special one this coming Wednesday. It's a lunchtime. And then we're going to do questions, comments, concerns. Of course, throughout the training tonight, we will stop and do questions, comments, concerns especially during Pam's portion, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. I will say we're going to save those till the end because this is going to be more of like a question and answer interview with myself and Pam. And so Evelyn's going to be kind of monitoring the questions, and if it's something that we have not covered, once we're done, then we'll go ahead and ask it. But in the beginning, let us just kind of get through them all, because I think we'll cover the majority of them. But anything we don't cover that you put in, Evelyn will keep track of, and we'll make sure it gets answered. Perfect. So Pam, she is from Boston. She is so close to having 20 signups. Like, she's so close, she can smell it. She is a superstar, and she's absolutely killing it. So I know we all want to learn exactly how she's been doing it. So Pam, do you just want to say hello to everyone?
Yes, hi. Is my audio coming in?
Yes, it is.
Sure
You sound
is.
right.
Great. Hi, Shanna. Hi, Evelyn.
Hi, Pam.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, like I said, we'll just do this as like a question and answer type interview. And then anything that we don't cover, Evelyn will get to, and anything that you feel is important that we don't cover, we'll make sure to get to that as well.
Sure.
So to get started, tell us a little bit about your background. Like, before you came to Trip, what was your kind of life like? Like, what was your career choice?
Well, I've been a business owner in the transportation industry for almost 16 years now. But of course, that's been down since COVID. So I haven't been in business since March.
Okay, wonderful. So you've had the hustle and the unique opportunity of always speaking to lots of different people. So you feel comfortable speaking to people, especially new people. And then you obviously had the hustle in you that when COVID hit, you had a goal and you knew what you wanted to achieve, and you just went for it.
Yeah, well, actually, Trip, I started from last year when they were trying to get the ride share off the ground and all the other problems that went into play. So I've been there from that perspective, although, because I saw the opportunity.
Perfect.
And what I'm doing now, as far as my own transportation business, that's not really something I saw for the long overall future. So I've been looking for another outlet.
Perfect. So you've always kind of believed in Trip, knew and saw the power in it. And so you truly have a positive experience. And when you go in, you're speaking from the heart as far as truly being excited and enthused. And that really radiates to the owners.
Correct.
Perfect. So speaking of that, when you're calling on these restaurants and the owners, what form of calls are you doing? Are you doing phone calls? Are you doing walk-ins? Are you looking to set an appointment by email? Like, how are you reaching out to these owners?
Okay, well, first of all, what works best for me is I prefer to do in-person visits. So to me, people are more willing to give you 15 seconds in person than over the phone. So I generally will go in person to a restaurant. Now, phone calls and so forth, I generally do as a follow-up, but not as my initial contact. And can I just first start out by saying it and correct you? Although I've been in business this long, I want everyone to understand that there's nothing special about me in terms of being a salesperson. I'm really terrified when it comes to cold contacting and selling and public speaking. But if I see something that's worth it, I force myself to just do it. And sometimes you just got to get in that mind frame. If it's worth it, it's worth doing.
Definitely. And I think that's also why I asked kind of about your background. And I didn't know the answer ahead of time, but I was hoping you didn't say something like, oh, I've been a salesperson for 24 years at Fortune 500 companies, and you had all of this professional sales training. Like, I was hoping
Not at all
was going to be very like, hey, I'm teaching myself as I go, and I'm just going in and being, very authentic, and I believe in the product and it's coming through. So do
Yeah.
you do any kind of research before just walking in, or are you just literally parking your car and going door to door to door to door in a certain area?
Well, no, I don't do very much research, but I do know once I am familiar with particular restaurants that's already using delivery services, that's how I do my targeting. So for me, like the best time I find to even go and do the in-person visit, I usually try to go maybe 30 to 60 minutes after opening, because that's the best time to really catch the owner
Mhm.
and or the decision maker. And usually that person, even if they're not there, then at least it's not too busy where someone can't give you a few seconds to get the contact info that you need.
Perfect. So speaking of that, when you walk in, can you give me kind of, if I was on the other side of the counter, give me like your 30-second who you are and how you're getting to the right people so quickly?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I walk in and I'm prepared. I have a flyer that I've prepared. I have a few different flyers, but the main one for the restaurants, it's a half a flyer. It's not a full page. And my reason for kind of creating a a half a flyer, it's more for practical reasons. It helps to save on ink and it keeps everything simple. It's not a large piece of paper, and so forth. So when I walk in, I have my flyer prepared and ready. I let them know who I am. I say, I realize that you use delivery services like Grubhub, DoorDash, what have you. Well, I'm with Trip Delivers. And as I'm showing them the flyer and outlining my pitch from the flyer, um, I'm also and then it depends, like I'm trying to explain before, you have to be prepared for anything, because it may not be that decision maker that you initially run into. It might just be a worker, because the decision maker or owner may not be there. But if it's the owner, then I go into a full pitch, and I'm reading off the flyer, which have just a few key points on it, nothing major, just some general information. At that point, I also created some little tickets, so to speak, like cards, where it has the contact info for the name of the person, the mobile number, and email. Those are the three main things I'm trying to walk out of there with. So as I'm giving the pitch, I'm also acknowledging that I realize that you may be busy right now, but I would like to send you some additional information. And at that point, I give them that paper to fill out. It's a little square card with the information that I need, and I kind of go from there.
Perfect. So if I was on the other side and you're introducing Trip for the very first time, what does that sound like?
Okay, so basically what I say is, you know, with Trip Delivers, we're delivery service. We operate a little differently, although we do the same service as the other delivery companies you're dealing with. We operate a little differently, where we do not take a percentage or commission of your order. It's a flat fee, and this is all on my flyer. It's a flat fee per order, $3 per delivery or $2 if you have a membership. My flyer outlines that all orders are paid directly from the consumer to you. The tablet or POS integration is provided. No menu markup on the customers, no hidden fees. Everything is fully transparent.
Perfect. And so with that little bit of information, it then gets whomever you're speaking to either stop and give you 5 minutes of their time because they're the decision maker, or at least give you their contact information or the proper contacts information.
Correct. Once I've said that, it's already piqued their interest. So they're prepared to give me the information. Now, usually I try to hand them my little ticket to fill out. But if it's not possible to do so, then I'll just ask them for the info. The reason why I like to have them fill it out is because most people will fill out what you're asking for. They'll give their name, they'll give their mobile number, they'll give their email. I'm usually shocked if they give their mobile number. For the most part, they'll write down the number to the restaurant, but they'll definitely give the email, which is a good opportunity to follow up with an email with the details of what we're presenting.
Perfect. And so that little ticket is basically, instead of you having to like go back and forth and make sure you have a piece of paper, you just hand it to them, and because it's their information, they can write it really, really quickly and then just hand it back to you.
Correct.
Perfect. And when you have that little piece of paper and you didn't get to speak to the decision maker, what kind of follow-up are you doing?
Okay, so again, whoever I'm able to speak with, I get the name and information as much as I can out of them. And at that point, if I can just go back a little bit, one of the key things to this, you have to be very organized, because, and that's the very important part of this, being organized, because you're going to have to, like I said, make the visits. You're going to have to be able to follow up certain times of the day. One of the key things I try to get, when is the best time of day to reach that person? So you need to know how to organize in terms of, these calls are in the afternoon after a certain time, or these calls are in the mornings before a certain time. So organization is very, very important, and you have to be flexible with your pitch. So once I get all this information from whomever that person is, at that point, I categorize them in terms of when to follow up, as far as date and time.
So how do you speaking of organization, how do you organize your day?
Oh, wow. Okay. So my day is usually organized in terms of phone calls. So there's certain times of the day, like some follow-up calls or some initial calls after that visit might have to be in the morning. Some may have to be in the afternoon. And then in between, I may have actual visits to complete an activation. So it's just a matter of splitting it up. Now, it doesn't always work that way. I've had people I've been trying to connect with for weeks and just not landing that. But one of the key things and important things is to also have that email. So even when I do get that email, if I'm speaking with the decision maker, one of the things I try to ask them once they provide me with that info is, do you check emails often? Because I'm trying to get in their mind to expect that they'll be receiving an email from me within 24 hours. And that way they'll be looking out for it. And when I do finally connect with them again, because 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna respond back to you by email. You're gonna have to be persistent. You're gonna have to follow up, but you don't want to ever seem like you're hounding someone. So once I send that email, I may not call them immediately that day or the following day. I might try to give them maybe 2 or 3 days to follow up, because I know people are busy, they're doing other things, and you don't want to seem like you're pressing someone. You've already done your pitch. You know that they're interested, because if they wasn't, they would have blown you off. They wouldn't have given you any information. So you want to be calm about your follow-up and not seem like you're hounding.
Perfect. And on your follow-up, how do you word your email?
Okay, so the email for me has to be more detailed than the flyer that I left, because that's what they're looking for.
Right.
So my email, what I kind of did is I incorporated certain things from the marketing in the back office. There's marketing tools and so forth, as far as the cold calls and so forth. So I kind of tailored things to my own personality and how I tend to approach things. So my email basically gives a little bit more details as far as who Trip Delivers is, um, and the transparency, and Trip do not control the money. Everything is direct from the customer to the restaurant and the customer to the driver. So I'm trying to outline the difference, because everyone is expecting your delivery service, oh, you're just like the others that we have. And of course, it breaks down again the details of the 25% commission versus the flat fee and the savings. At that point, I go into the membership availability, and in the email, I also outline the one-time activation fee. Now, for me, I am actually running a promotion, which I'm finding about a week ago, I decided to implement a promotion, and I find that's working very well, because one of the things even though I've been able to sign up restaurants prior, what I'm finding is it's so difficult to, even though it's $1 to activate right now, it's so difficult to get someone to want to input their credit card information and their banking info and so forth for something that's unknown to them. So I'm alleviating that problem by using my own card. And I learned this through one of the calls with Bob, Coffee with Bob. Someone mentioned this is what they're doing. So I went and I got me a prepaid card, and that's what I'm doing. I'm paying the $1 activation for them. And it seems like that's making a lot more people more comfortable without having to input their own personal information. So that's a promotion that I'm running. It seems to be helping quite a bit. In my email, I also give some savings examples from what I've learned from other restaurants. One restaurant, for example, told me they get 100 orders in a weekend at $3,000, and they're paying $1,000 of that for delivery. With Trip Delivers, that same scenario would have only cost them $300 for non-member or $200 for member. So I kind of give examples of that from other restaurants. And then I kind of just, let them know that, hey, we're really working hard to get Trip Delivers here in the coming weeks and so forth. I'd like to go ahead and add you to the restaurant platform, to their platform as a restaurant, and kind of just go from there. And it's working.
So let's talk a little bit about that promo. So basically you have bought a prepaid card, 10, 20, whatever dollars may be on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You are inputting that, and then you're explaining to the restaurant that when the market goes live, and about 2 weeks prior to it going live, at that time, we will contact you to pay your $149. And when they give us the credit card to process that, then they will, obviously, it'll replace that card that you had on file.
Exactly. So, and again, in the email, it outlines that what the one-time activation is. It outlines the one-time activation is $149.99. It's not going to be billed until Trip Delivers reaches an adequate ratio of restaurant and drivers to go live in the area. However, there's a $1 processing fee that will be charged right now. separate to that, I say something like great news for a limited time only. That $1 is on me.
Perfect.
And yeah, so
So it
that's
basically takes away any objection of somebody having
exactly,
about not trusting or not wanting to put their information in.
exactly.
Perfect. Besides that objection that you've kind of taken away, what are some other top objections that you hear?
Oh, geez, I've heard so many. One guy, I mean, I couldn't really convince him, but he kind of my initial visit with him, he was like, "Oh, wow, this is great. Yeah, go ahead, sign me up and get it going." Um, so when I scheduled to come back, and when I started the process and I scheduled to come back, at that point, his thought process changed in terms of, oh, this might be if some young guys trying to start up. I've experienced something like this before, where they said they were going to do something and they disappeared on me. So something like that, I couldn't, even though I still have him on my list and I still touch base with him from time to time, but I'm not pressuring that. I mean, it's something that eventually it's going to have to be seen. Now, as far as, I mean, I'm not really getting a whole lot of objections, because what's there to really object of? I mean,
Right.
if you're, one of the things that I did come across is, and I don't know if this is something new that's going on. Some people are saying, "Oh, well, I'm kind of grandfathered in from the beginning, and I don't. If I do the math, the fees are not the same." I've had some people say, "Well, um, they don't charge me anything because you know how the 149.99 activation. Well, the others didn't charge me anything, and then I have to explain to them, well, they may not have charged you something up front, but they're getting that plus more on the back end based on the commissions they're taking from you and the markup on the customers. So, as Bob says, nothing is in life is free. So I try to use examples like that.
Perfect. So how many calls does it currently take you to get a close? Like if you were to go into 5 restaurants today and speak to 5 decision makers, how many of those 5 are you closing?
Okay. So if I've connected with some restaurant, let's say 5 restaurants, and again, this kind of varies. It's very difficult to really reach that decision maker when you're trying to lock in that follow up and get that sign up done. So you could be trying someone for days or weeks or what have you. But once I do connect with them, the first thing I do is I ask, did they have an opportunity to review the email? And most times I'm finding some of them might say, oh, well, I did, but I really didn't have time to really review everything. Even if they tell me that, at that point, I'm ready to still lock this in. So at this point, I just say to them, hey, well, tell you what, I know you understand the savings and the benefits and so forth. We've kind of been over that. What I'm trying to do right now is to get you added to the platform, because the sooner we can get the numbers and get trip delivers here is the sooner the savings will kick in for your restaurant. And if I can go back a little bit, one of the things that I do mention in my email is in regards to the savings possibility. And I kind of explained to them that I'm not asking that they get rid of their other delivery services, but to simply add Trip Delivers to their platform, because I'm confident that over time, the savings in comparison will speak for itself. So those are things that I try to reiterate as much as possible. so that they understand that this is really, Trip Delivers is coming from a whole different perspective where everyone's going to benefit from this. It's not just about the company itself. So once I kind of lock into this whole process with them in terms of whether they reviewed the email in detail or not, it's about just getting them to agree to an appointment so that we can get them activated. So one of the things that I do and what I started doing is I would let them know that what I can do is go ahead and start the process, because one thing that I noticed, and maybe now it might be a little better, when the OTPs were a problem, I was going in, scheduling appointments, getting in there, and then the OTP wouldn't work, and then the owners would get frustrated and so forth, and then I have to reschedule. So what I started to do was, prior to going into the appointment, I would start the process so that once I get in there, all we got to do is they got to enter their banking information, their EIN, and we're done. And so at least I'm prepared ahead of time that once I get in there, we're not facing all kinds of technical issues. So once they tell me, okay, yeah, go ahead and do that, that's fine. That's what I do. But I don't do that immediately. I wait until the day of the appointment, right before I'm about to go in. And then I go ahead and I start that process, especially now that I'm paying the dollar. I'll go ahead and I'll take care of that. One of the things that I also do is I create a temporary password for them when I go through this process. And once we're finished with the activation process, what I tell them to do is go in and change their password so that everything is exclusively for them, because I don't want anyone to feel that I'm having access to their info. So I take them through that process of changing their password.
Perfect. So also knowing the system and knowing how it works and really getting in there and playing with it is super beneficial.
Oh, most definitely. It's not just beneficial, but it saves a lot of time and hassle and going back and forth. So what I generally offer the restaurant owners is, even once I lock in that appointment, or even in the email, I try to tell them, hey, once we get things going, we can schedule the complete the appointment to complete everything either by phone, in person, or via Zoom. Even though I prefer to go in person, because that way I'm hands-on and helping them through the process, and I can make sure that they finish the process. Because if you try to just leave it up to them, I try to avoid sending them the link so that they can go in and finish it, because sometimes they may never get around to it. So I try to go back in person and do it. And if that doesn't work, because sometimes they may not have certain info that they need, then at that point, I will do it over the phone with them and just walk them through the steps.
But you never just leave it up to them by sending them a link very haphazardly through text or email and assuming they're going to log on and finish it.
No, I try to do that in person. I try to do that in person, or like I said, by phone. I've had a couple of Zoom signups that I completed over by Zoom, scheduling an appointment by Zoom. I've done that. I've done it by phone, but for the most part, I go in person.
Perfect. And so when you actually go to an appointment and you're pitching, how long is your pitch?
You mean for the appointment or?
Yes.
Well, there's no need for another pitch, because I've already done the pitch. I've done the pitch from my initial meeting. Mm-hmm. I then the next step was to provide them an email with the details as they wanted. And at that point, the follow-up phone call is to schedule that appointment. They've already got all the info that they need at that point to say, hey, this is something I want to I want to do. So once I go in for the appointment, they already know. Because even prior to the appointment, what I usually try to do is I let them know, hey, this is a reminder. We have an appointment tomorrow morning or this afternoon at such and such a time. I've already started the process for you. Once I get there, the only thing you'll need is your banking information of where you want your payments to go for your orders, as far as it being linked to your merchant account, and your business EIN. Because what I've been finding is I would get in there to finish the sign up process, and then someone, oh, I don't have my checkbook, my business checkbook, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. Most people do, but every now and then you'll come across someone that don't. So I try to at least let them know what to expect, that they'll be entering that information. And I try to make sure they know that that's what they will need to enter. Because I am so uncomfortable ever asking anyone to release their financial information, or their banking information. I am so uncomfortable about it. So I like to make sure that they know that they're the ones that will be seeing it. They're the ones that they're not giving it to me.
Perfect. So really, the 5 or 6 minutes that you initially spent in there walking in, the little bit of time it took you to copy and paste the email and resend it to them, and then giving them a phone call or two until you reach them. By the time you actually reach them to follow up on the email that you sent, they're typically have their mind made up. So there should be no, we've had, people who have said, I spent an hour and a half with a restaurant owner and they didn't sign up. Well, the problem probably was the amount of time that you were there. It's not a very difficult product, and it shouldn't take that long to
Exactly. It's really not. It's just really straightforward. And like I said, there's some key things that I'm very consistent with, and that is in my outline of what Trip Delivers offer. It's not, I even mentioned that it's a SaaS business model. So it's very straightforward. There's no commissions involved. It's a flat fee, and it's just very simple. It's just a very simple. So you just have to have the key points and drive that in. And once they understand that, and again, what I try to also make sure that they understand is Trip do not control the money. Like the others, they take the money and then they decide how much goes here, how much goes to the driver, how much goes to the restaurant. With Trip Delivers, none of that. Everything is direct. Whatever the customer pays for when they place the order, that's coming straight to your account. And whatever they're paying for delivery, that's going straight to the driver. So they're loving that whole concept. You're going to have some that you're not going to be able to sell it to. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm not running into roadblocks with some that's just not willing, but it's not as many. Most are willing to move forward with this.
And I think that your success has come from keeping the process very organized, keeping the pitch very simple.
Yes. Hello?
Shanna. So I think Shanna is having some audio difficulty, but Pam, I've worked with you for quite some time, and you're just very organized, and I know that you've actually called us, just to throw some tech issues that you've had, but you've been very organized, and I feel like I've been working with you for quite some time, and it's really a pleasure just to see how organized you are. All your customers, everyone that you've signed up, them by first name, everything about that restaurant. So it's really, really refreshing.
Yeah. You have to. I don't want to make it seem like it's easy, but it's possible. You just have to, find your own little pitch
Yep.
and work with it and just be flexible to each given person. Even with my email, I have like maybe 10 different versions of emails because everyone's situation might be different. And you have to be able to tailor and adjust to that individual based on your encounter with them, based on the operation of their business, and so forth.
Great stuff. Shanna, are you back?
Yeah, I guess I cut out for a moment, but
Perfect.
basically what I was saying was, your successes really come from keeping your pitch simple, keeping, being very organized, and also not overwhelming people with all the details up front, but giving them enough information at each step that they can kind of continue along the process until they're ready to close.
Correct.
Perfect.
So we do have some questions. Just if you guys
Sure.
want to take a little bit of just a little break just to answer some questions.
Sure.
Perfect. So we have Lloyd asking, Pam, how long did it take you to sign up your almost 20 restaurants?
Ever since Trip Delivers launched back in, what was it, August?
Mm-hmm.
I would say not too long after that, I went to work on trying to figure out how to make this approach. I mean, I didn't immediately start that day, but one of the things I like to do is be prepared. So I prepared my approach. How am I going to go about doing this? Which is the best way to do this based on my personality? And like I said, for me, it was best to do walk-ins and do in-person visits because I feel I'm able to connect better doing it that way than to try to make a phone call. And most people sometimes, oh, this is just another sales call. They're ready to rush you off. They don't want to really hear much. I'm busy, call me later. So that was the first thing I did. I might have spent maybe a couple of weeks doing that, just kind of organize and figuring out the best way. And for me, it was about creating my flyers and and the little cards that I mentioned. And I just started going around to various restaurants and this is where the organization comes into play. And I think Bob has mentioned you pick a certain area and there's a number of restaurants in that surrounding area and you just go one by one by one. You may not catch everybody that day, but at least you have the info to follow up and go back and get it going.
Amazing. Shanna, this question is actually for you. There's a question about, I thought the white glove group was supposed to deal with completing the sign up.
No, I mean, when you say complete the sign up, do you mean like making sure they enter their information in their credit card? Absolutely not. Where the white glove team takes over is once the restaurant is signed up. So the restaurant is signed up. Then the white glove team takes over to collect their logo and collect their menu, eventually get that menu approved. And then regarding the payment, it's going to be of the $149.99 and optional $99.99 membership fee. That is going to be an automated process by email. So when the market's ready to go live, the restaurant owner will receive an email that they need to go in and update their payment information, and that we will be processing it on X date and sending it. Now, if those emails do not get responses, then we will reach out to the driver because you guys hold the relationship to help us get the merchant to complete their credit card, or if the credit card is correct on file, then it will charge on that particular date. But as far as signing the actual restaurant up, that's totally on you guys. That's how you guys make your commission. What we do is help onboard them by getting their logo together and their menu up and approved.
Great stuff. I think you also answered the question of, how does Trip know which credit card to charge if Pam is prepaying for that $1? So you've already answered that one. And I think that's the next question is would you be willing to share pictures and flyers of your share pictures of the flyers and cards.
Oh, sure. I don't mind doing that. I can send, and even I think I sent flyers. I posted them the last time I was having coffee with Bob. And again, I'm always adjusting and making changes. So, the flyers are pretty consistent, but I probably made some adjustments since then. But no, I can certainly do that. That's not a problem.
Perfect. And I think those are all the questions that we have.
Perfect. So PM, you've been absolutely fantastic. Do you feel like there's anything you want to share prior to like us moving forward on a new topic?
Well, the only thing I guess I can mention is, don't ever take anything personal. You may come across some owners that might seem a little rough around the edges, but you got to realize that sometimes people are in a different space at different times. I've had an owner that I had initially tried activating his restaurant. We ran into a problem with the OTP at the time. And since then, I've been trying to call to finish the process, and it just wasn't happening. And then finally, about a week ago, he also had a second restaurant that we were supposed to sign up as well. And finally, about a week ago, I called him trying to get this done and finished, and he was flipping out on me. And I think he even hung up on me. He's like, I already told you I'm okay. I'm good. Go ahead and do it and get the other restaurant and just send me the information and I'll finish it up. And this is how he's talking to me. And I think he even hung up the phone on me. And then he's like, just Google. I'm like, just Google the other restaurant, the other restaurant. I'm looking it up thinking it's the same name as the one that I already had processed, and couldn't find it anywhere in the different city he's talking about. And I was so nervous to call him back. And when I called him back to let him know I can't find the other name, he was a lot calmer. He gave it to me. I said, oh, I thought it was the same name as the first one. So at this point, we finished the process and it was good. So sometimes, some people may be a little rough around the edges, but don't take it personal. You're also going to come across owners that may have been interested at first and changed their mind. Just keep them on your list and touch base with them maybe every 4 to 6 weeks or so, because eventually something's going to change, and at least you want them to know that you're still there. And then the ones that you do sign up, you want to touch base with them, because you don't want them to just be sitting there, because we don't know how long this is going to take. But touch base with them every month or so, and let them know you're still there if they have any questions or whatever, and also remind them of the referral benefits to them if they know of any other restaurant owners, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, so that's basically it. And last but not least, promote. We have got to promote in your cities the name and logo of Trip Delivers. I've ordered some window decals myself, and is in the process of distributing them to drivers that I had signed up from way before Trip Delivers started. So they're still on my driver list. So I'm meeting with them so that they can put these logos on the window, because you want to get the word out there and start making it a familiar thing that people are going to start saying, hey, what's that? Trip Delivers? That's something new, so start promoting that. Figure out a way to get these logos out there.
Perfect. Well, you've been absolutely wonderful, and I appreciate you so much. And I know everybody on this call absolutely appreciates all the knowledge and amazing information that you've given tonight. So we really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So we'll go ahead and move forward. So I don't know if they're quite as wonderful as Pam's flyers, but we have created a restaurant and a driver flyer for you. They will be uploaded into the back office, and it will allow you to customize with your information. So for a little sneak peek, here is what they look like. So this is your restaurant flyer. So it's basically going to give just some information along the top about, the key points of tired of paying high commission to third-party delivery food companies, join Trip Delivers and pay a flat fee per delivery as low as $1. The fact that the drivers are true owner operators and get 100% of the fare and tips. We put more money in the pocket of our restaurants and drivers, and then join the movement and save today. Like, it's a little bit of information to pique the interest. And then we have that comparison chart along the bottom. And then here for more information is where you would insert your QR code, website, phone numbers, and more. This will be uploaded as a couple of different ways. One is going to be a JPEG, or PDF. So basically you could save it to your phone, and then using any of your picture edit tools, you'll be able to put your QR code in or type your information. Where it says insert will not be there any longer. So it'll just say for more information, and then you can put it in. For the driver flyer, it's going to look like this. It basically, again, gives just enough information about keeping 100% of the delivery fee and tip. Your guaranteed minimums are in there. You're going to earn money for referrals of consumers, drivers, restaurants. It shows the two choices as far as price points concerned, what the qualifications necessary, and what type of vehicles. Again, get totally customizable, so you'll be able to insert your QR code, website, phone number, and more right here under for more information.
Great stuff.
Yeah, so those are our two flyers, and they'll be up. It's probably going to be by the end of the week or this time next week, but they will be up. Also on Thursday, we'll go over exactly how you can add your own information in there, so that no one will have any questions once they're uploaded of exactly how to put their information in. So that is the flyer. And then upcoming training. So we do have a special training this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central, how to sign up a merchant with Evelyn. So she's going to be going through the process live. She'll answer all your questions. So she's going to start at refer and earn link, getting that sent to a merchant, the merchant clicking on it, filling it out, and walking through the entire process. So if you don't feel that your skills are quite perfect in that area, or you're getting lots of questions, or you're getting stuck, make sure to join that on Wednesday. Also, every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Central right here. And Evelyn's training will also be right here on YouTube and with this Zoom link, so you'll know where to come. We do these trainings Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central, Tuesdays and Fridays, same time, same place in Spanish. Bob does a great coffee with Bob on Saturdays. And then the first Thursday and Friday of the month is our restaurant pitch. So this is where you invite all your potential prospects. And the next one will be November 5th and 6th. Just a reminder though, Spanish is not live on YouTube, so you do have to use the Zoom link to attend. So with that, Evelyn, do we have any additional questions, comments, or concerns?
We actually just have a couple of more quick questions. Where do they find the merchant onboarding form?
So that is sent via email. After a restaurant is signed up, we automatically send them that. So they'll be able to fill that out and send in their menu and their JPEG on their own. So you no longer need that link. It is something that the White Glove team sends directly to the restaurant, and the restaurant gets filled out.
Amazing. This is the last question again, and Shanna. It's been said for drivers and marketers should concentrate on all the smaller establishments, and Trip headquarters will solicit a big corporate account. Is that still what we recommend?
Absolutely. The way you're going to win is by mom and pops. Chain stores are going to be handled, franchisees are going to be handled through corporate. Where you're going to win, though, is that mom and pop, not only from just being able to easily close them, but also from the consumer side. The consumer doesn't want to order Chili's or that sort of thing from a third-party delivery company. They are coming to look for that local mom and pop down the street that they want to go to, but maybe the wait's too long, or maybe they just don't want to leave their house.
Great stuff. Last but not the least, one last question. One of our drivers is actually asking, a restaurant is asking, is there any way that they can contact a driver to maybe push back the pickup time? That was one of the questions they got.
So, Evelyn, you can probably speak to that, but through our support, we will have options and ways for a restaurant, when they accept the order, to be able to give a delivery pickup time frame. But also, if there's something they need to push back, we will have support where they are able to contact support, push that back, which would then send a delay notification to the driver so the driver knows not to go. But also, you've got to think that these tickets won't be dispatched to drivers at the time of order. They're dispatched about 5 minutes before the order is set to be ready. So there is a very short window. So it's not going to cause a massive delay with that particular driver, because normally you're going to know that you have a delay in a longer time period than just 5 minutes. So yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Shanna.
Thank you. And thanks to Pam. Hope everyone has a great week. I hope that you found some sort of value in tonight's information and you found some unique nugget that will help you kill the numbers out there. But if you guys need anything, you can always reach us at support@tripdelivers.com. And we look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday with Evelyn. And then again here, 7 p.m. Central on Thursday. So I hope everyone has a fantastic week and talk to everyone very soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Okay, thanks. All right.